Hello everyone and welcome to another Monday edition of Cinnamon Stitches. I'm your yarn host. Jennifer. Now today is Monday, and on Monday we have called it Monday Makes for an Eternity here on the channel. The reason we call it Monday Makes is because I come on and I show you what I've been doing for the past 7 days, give or take. And what have I been doing for the last 7 days? A lot. Oh my god, I've done a lot. I've done a lot. I have pretty much done all of the crafts. I have knit, I have crocheted, I have spun yarn, I've dyed yarn, which I will show you in greater detail after I have finished hanking them up. I'm twisting them, they're already hanked. Just giving them a twisty twist. Now if you watched last week's video, you will have seen, I'm trying to twist this so you can actually see some of the speckles. You will have seen me dye these. Now, I'm not an indie dye, I mean, I guess what you could call what I do indie dyeing. I'm super small batch when I dye. I have sold my dyed yarns on occasion, absolutely have. I tell you guys all the time when I dye, there's no dye lots. I dye for my own entertainment. I pass some of the yarns on to you guys if you want them. Other than that, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I can hear the kids outside screaming. And this will never be my living. I watch all the work that the real dyers put into their dyeing, you know, the big people. I watch those videos. I'm obsessed with dyeing. I think dyeing is fun. I'm a hobbyist at best. I do have some techniques under my belt, but I don't plan anything when I'm dyeing. When I dye yarn, it is very much, I'm going for my own artistic, like, it's a way to me, it's a way that I express myself artistically. We'll put it that way. I also can paint and draw. I am multifaceted, people. I learned this trick of tucking in your ends from Arcane Fibers because I love his videos. See, that's not, look at, that's kind of funky looking. I honestly dyed because I have had, I gotta retwist that one. I've had the urge to dye. Also, there's a small batch indie dyer who I'm slightly obsessed with. There we go. Twist it that way because this one has speckles too. I'm slightly obsessed with her colorways. And she's also in the city that I lived in before I moved here. She's in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. Slightly obsessed with her. Can't afford her yarn right now. I want some of her yarn so bad. So I was dyeing this one specifically based off of inspiration from her stuff. Because she does a lot of like pastels and I'm like obsessed with them. And so she was the inspiration for this batch. And the cinnamon buns know why we did a dye video. Not perfect, not professional, but it's a Cinnamon Stitches original. And I also cannot twist these yarns sometimes because it just is what it is. So even though these were all dyed, the pink ones were all dyed in the same bath water, they are not. This one's gorgeous. This one might be mine. I did a dye video last week. And we're going to do another dye video this week because I found Bear Roving for a steal of a deal this week. And that will be, actually, one video will be me showing you and talking about the deal of the week that I got. And the other video will be me dyeing the roving. So spoiler alert. But that will be this. I'm having a hard time putting my words together and wrapping the yarn at the same time. I can't do 2 things at once today, which is rare because usually I can do 5 things at once, which is why I have so many makes to show you this weekend. So I also give you a blog update on what has been going on in my world. Usually it's a weekend update, but that's what we talk about on Mondays. What I've been doing, what I've been making, and all that. And like I said, I have spun yarn this week. I have dyed yarn this week. I have crocheted. I have knit. I think the only thing I haven't done is macrame or weaving, but I haven't done either of those in a while. So we're going to show you all those. I have 2 more hanks to try to make presentable. And you guys, if you watched the dyeing video, you know why I'm trying to show these to you, because I promised I'd show you the final product. This one is probably my favorite of all of them. So I'm going to try to remix this color again today, because I would like to mix this. I have an idea of color palette that I want to do for the roving. Like, I already have it in my head. I was thinking about it this morning. I couldn't sleep, and I'm already thinking about it. I'm so excited. And yeah, I'm also excited that I found bare roving so that I can dye it for myself, because this is so pretty. Tuck your ends in. Got a little bit of speckling. This is the last one. Alright, so weekend update. I'll give you a weekend update because I'm not rehashing what happened last week, because that's a cinnamon bun story. And I know that some of you are going to say, but I can't afford to be a cinnamon bun and I still love you. And I understand that, but the reason I keep some of the stories in the cinnamon bun group is because some things don't need to be on a public forum. I'll just say that. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's just something I needed to talk about. And we're not putting it out there for the whole world. I will say that. So we're going to update this weekend. My niece wanted us to come drive over the mountain to visit her. So we did. She said she wanted to spend time with us, but she also wanted us to bring her some of her bucket so that she could start packing, because she's getting ready to come home for the summer. She's already got jobs lined up, which is fantastic. And I'm drinking caffeine this morning. Dr. Pepper Zero in my Mickey Mouse cup, which you guys probably can't see because it's dark. So I have my Fall Out Boy hoodie on because I'm freezing, but I have a tank top underneath because I have 2 wearables that I finished this week that I want to share with you. Alright, weekend update. We'll do the blog, then we'll show you all the makes, because there's a lot. There's a lot. So we drove over the mountain to go visit her, and we decided it would be all of us going. Even my adult daughter, Juju, who is 18, went with us. My niece is 20. Little man came, he is 9. And we decided to go all as a family because I think we were in desperate need of just family time. All of us, every single one of us, including my niece, I think we really needed the family time. And so we got over there, and we had planned to go to a little market, and we left a little bit late because honestly it was me. It was me. I wanted to film a video before we left so that I had a video for this week, because I got a package in the mail and I wanted to show you guys what we got. And because I filmed the video, we left a little bit later, and everybody was eating breakfast, and we left a little bit later than we were supposed to. And by the time we got to my niece's and picked her up, and to get to the market, the special spring market, it would have been a lot of fun because they had live animals. It was on a farm. It sounded amazing. The market closed at 2 o'clock, and we would have gotten there 20 minutes before the market closed. So that's not a whole lot of time to do anything. And I didn't plan ahead enough that we would have left early enough to really properly enjoy the day like that. So we got up there and we're like, okay, what are we going to do? Because I'm not sitting in her tiny little dorm room. First of all, the college students irritate me to no end. Okay? We went on 420 day. If you don't know what that is, if you know, you know, okay? It's the sticky green substance day, okay? It's for the sticky icky, okay? Some of you will know her as Mary Jane. And they were celebrating. Which is ironic because it was also Siblings Day, so there was a lot of little kids around. There was also a scrimmage game going on because it was Siblings Day. So there's just a lot of people getting drunk, getting buzzed, properly enjoying their day, we'll say. Okay? So I'm already outside of my element because I don't partake in those things. Okay? I grew up around all that, so I'm very familiar with all of it, but I don't partake. And even in her dorm, it was very armpit smelling. If you get smelled like armpits. And there were girls, college girls, all of 18, 19 years old, parading in and out of her dorm room in bikini tops because it was 70 degrees outside. And shorts. And my son, who is of the age to notice, was like... So we opted not to hang out at her dorm because it's really small. There was a lot of things happening that a 9-year-old should not be around. So we're like, okay, we got in the truck. And I'm like, okay, where do we go? What do we do? Because I screwed us with the time thing and I didn't know where to go. So Mr. Cinnamon was like, well, we could go here. And first of all, the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival is coming, so like all of the pennies are like in a bucket. They cannot be touched right now. There's not finances to go do things right now because everything is, I really want to go to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival and buy fluff and maybe more small dyed yarn. I don't know, but like I want to go. I want to have fun with my family. I want to go pet sheep if we can, or at least see the sheep and watch the sheep and the dogs and all the things, okay? It sounds like a really good time. But I also have to budget because wool is expensive. Fluff can get expensive. Like, it adds up. So, like, right now, like, money is real tight. And I share this with you because, like, we're all about being real on this channel and, like, honesty, right? We all can relate because we've all been there. And I was like, why don't we go to Liberty, I think it's Liberty Street Mercantile. It is this really weird looking industrial building that they have put little shops inside of. And I don't have any video because I was having family day, but I'm still sharing with you, okay? And inside of there is a yarn store called Rocktown Yarn, which we will talk about later in the week. Because fluff. I found fluff, okay? I will go into more detail about that. Then when we were done with there, that was all of a 10-minute trip because there's not a lot of stores in there and nobody had money, right? Including Juju, including my niece. Like, everybody was like, things are happening, right? So we're driving along. We were going to go to the Creative Reuse store in Harrisonburg. I can't think of the name of it. Something Valley. I've talked about it on the channel. I cannot remember the name of it. We decided to go over there. We got there at 2:09. She closed at 2. So that was a bust. She's only open 2 days a week. And she's only open for a couple hours on those 2 hours. And so it's really hard to catch her when she's open. Which frustrates me because I'm only over there so often. It's like... And she did tell me if I contacted her, she would come meet me up over there. But, I mean, I ain't doing that. So, as we're driving past her store, there is a thrift store right up the road. And it said a big sign, books $1 and under. And that perked the two girls, 20 and 18-year-olds. They're like, oh, books. You'd think they'd have enough of books. They're in college. That's all they do is read, right? No, they wanted to go look at the books. They've always loved reading. Always. And I'm like, I will gladly go to a thrift store. Let's go see what they got. I spent $4 at the thrift store and we got a bag of stuff. They had a really good sale. And they had a lot of craft books, which we will also talk about later in the week. Because I'm going to show you, we're gonna talk more about the shopping trip. And I'm going to show you guys what I got. Because I spent all of $20 and I got really good stuff. I got fluff and books for $20. It was under $20. It was amazing. And little man got a remote control for his Amazon Fire Stick, whatever that is for his TV. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. So you can hear him upstairs probably. He's jumping up and down in his room. And I keep hearing him hit his bed, which means he's jumping on his bed. So every once in a while he'll jump on his bed and then jump on the floor. So if you hear a clunk or a squeak, he's directly above us. He's in there doing Lord knows what. He is having a grand time. He is doing his thing. Entertaining himself, which, can't tell you, that part of his personality came out much later in life. So usually you'll have a 4 or 5-year-old who will play by themselves. It took him much longer to be able to pretend and to be able to entertain himself. So when he does at 9, 10 years old, he'll be 10 in August. It is amazing to let him go entertain himself. It is fantastic, but he didn't do it when he was 4 and 5. He does it at 9 and 10. Gladly. Just go play with your whatever it is in your room. He has lots of things to entertain himself. So then after that, my niece was like, well, there's this other market. I want to say it's Aurora Market or something. She goes, but that's downtown, which is not where we were at. She said, oh, that's downtown Harrisburg. So I was like, okay, Harrisonburg. So everybody wanted to go. And at this point, I hadn't eaten in hours. And I'm a diabetic, which means my mood was all over the place. And I'm like, I don't want to go into any more stores. Like, I can't spend money right now. And that causes me to have anxiety, like really bad anxiety. Like, I know that I cannot spend any more than this $20 that I spent today. And as it was, I didn't bring my wallet. I spent $20 out of my wallet, which also makes me feel like horrible. It's mental issues, okay? I got problems. So she's all, no, it's a really cool store. And Mr. Cinnamon was like, yeah, we could go to that store. That's a cool store. I'm like, how do you even know what this store is? He's all, you remember when I bought you the rooibos tea? I was like, yeah. He's all, that's where I got it from. I didn't even know the store existed or that he went to that store. Never heard anything about it. I just knew he brought me home tea and he bought me something else. Like, he took little man out there for the weekend. And me and Juju went to a thrift expo and he went up there for Parents Week or something like that. So we split duties, you know. Juju wanted to do one thing and I believe I was having a rough week at that time and I needed to just be away from people probably. And they went that way, we went this way. And he brought me home rooibos tea, which I have not even cracked into. And he bought me, I know he bought me something else. I don't remember what it was. And so I was like, oh, so they have tea? I didn't even look at the tea because I have so much tea and I have gotten tea in Happy Meal and there's no way I could drink all the tea that I possess at this point. And so I'm like, let's just not buy tea anymore for me because I only drink tea on Tuesdays. Or if someone's sick, they drink the tea. But the tea is starting to go bad and it's too much for one person to drink. And Mr. Cinnamon drinks it occasionally, but not, I'm the only one. So I was like, we're just not even gonna look at the tea. But in this shop it was so cool. They had little vendors. It was very much like the Liberty Street Mercantile, except they were all in one big giant space, which was barriered off with like shelving. So if you've ever been to that kind of store, you already know what it looks like. There was a toy shop in there. There was a crystal metaphysical, she called herself the Boho Witch or something like that. There was a tea shop. There was a vintage lady in the back, which me and Juju loved her shop. And if you're in the Facebook group, you saw a picture of a crocheted Afghan. that she had marked as a knit Afghan, which irritated me to no end because she had a bunch of crochet in there and everything was marked crochet except this one Afghan, and she had it put knit. And I was like, these are single crochets. This is not knit. And I was getting irritated because, you know, why? If you don't know, look it up, okay? I took pictures and I tried to reverse image search the pictures, and I couldn't find, I could find that blanket for sale because Google wants you to buy everything now. They won't show you anything unless it benefits them somehow financially. And so I couldn't find it in reverse image search, so I put it in the pictures in the Facebook. And instantly, one of my cinnamon people were like, hey, look up Navajo Afghan crochet. And it popped up like that, and it's a YouTube video. So will I ever have a chance to make that blanket because it's single crochets? Probably not, but it's going to go into my pile of things I really would like to have in my life. I was telling Juju this morning, I was like, I also really want a honeycomb blanket, and a honeycomb blanket is yellow hexagons with like a border on them, and it's a hexi blanket, which I know how to do. I have a tutorial on the channel for a hexagon blanket, and it's just, instead of granny squares, it's hexagons, and I made a whole blanket, and I showed you guys how to make the hexagons and how to connect them in a tutorial. And I would like to make a honeycomb one that's all, but the idea of working all in one color and making all of those hexagons, because I've done several hexagon blankets, and then making them all together. And then Jada and Stitches released some cute little appliques that are bugs that I want to put on there, because ladybugs and bumblebees would be so cute, because Juju is my Juju bee or Juju bug, and I have a ladybug tattoo on my leg with that symbolizes her. It's a rose because that's her birth flower, and a ladybug because she's Juju bug, and her name is on my leg. In case you didn't know, I do have tattoo. I have a tattoo. I'm gonna get at least 2 more because I need Little Man on my body, but I also want to get cherry blossoms on my arm. So yeah, there's that. And I was like, the idea of making 150 yellow hexagons and then sewing them all together, right now in my life, I know that would be torture. Same thing with making a blanket out of single crochets would be absolute torture, and it would take me years to finish either one of those. But it might be worth starting or looking into. Anyway, that's not the point of any of this. The vintage shop had glasses. This was from Big Lots. Mr. Cinnamon bought me these as Mickey Mouse. But they were this style glass. You know, the glasses from McDonald's, from Burger King. You know, with the characters. This lady had a ton of them. She had Smurfs, which, if I was talking to my little sister, I would have bought them for her and sent them to her because they were the old Smurfs, and she's like into Smurfs. But I mean, she wants nothing to do with me. She doesn't get Smurf cups. I did think about it though. They had Miss Piggy. It was the Muppets, but it was Miss Piggy on a motorcycle breaking through a stained glass window. And on the back was Fozzie and Gonzo. I don't remember who else, but Juju loves Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog, and I bought it for her. Well, Mr. Cinnamon did, but like, it was a $15 glass. I was like, liquid is not going in that cup. You can put whatever else you want in that cup, but that cup does not get washed because the paint will come off. Those cups don't last. It was in pristine condition. I don't know where this lady got her cups from, but she had a whole collection of them. She had vintage tea pots, which were gorgeous. Like, I'm talking like 60s and 70s teapots, okay? So like real beautiful vintage. Those crazy yellow colors, red, green, you know what I'm talking about. All of you know what I'm talking about, okay? They had pink crystalware. They had vintage clothes from the 60s and 70s. And then they had vintage bed sheets, which, do you know what you can do with vintage bed sheets? Like, you can make project bags, you can make curtains, you can make clothes, like, I've seen such cute dresses made out of vintage sheets. They had the California raisins. They had, who else did they have? They didn't have nothing Disney, or they would have came home. Because, like, I love vintage Disney. She had so much cool stuff, like from before I was born. I was born at the butt end of 70. I was born in 79, so it was all before I was born. But that's me and Juju loves that kind of stuff. Just love it. They even had some of the really cute old dishes and stuff, like the Corningware and the Pyrex bowls. It was just, we were in our glory. And I definitely, when she gets her own place, when she's a little bit older, when she's ready, that's the kind of stuff I'm going to fill her house with. Like, we're going to give her a housewarming party, and I'm going to make sure she has like all that cool vintage stuff, because that is so her style. She loves that kind of stuff. So, and I feel her because I like stuff from the 50s and 60s. But yeah, we had a really good time. We spent a little tiny bit of money, but we didn't need to. We were having fun and looking at stuff. And little man got a handful of dice that are like 9-sided dice and marbles. And he got it from the toy shop in that, I think it's Aurora Market. And the guy was like, he was cool, he was a nerd. He was like, let me get you a little bag for your dice and your marbles. And so he had these little two, the marbles were $0.25. No, some of the marbles were $0.25, some were 50 cents, and he got a big marble that was, I want to say $1.99. And then he got dice, and the dice were 75 cents or something like that. And so he got his little bags for a couple dollars. He was so excited. So, and then we were supposed to have lunch, or it was actually almost dinner time at that time. We were supposed to have dinner with my niece, but they do have gluten-free options at her school cafeteria, but it's buffet style, and Juju already wasn't feeling well. And because it's so easy for us to get cross-contaminated just from someone at a buffet, just think about when you go to the buffet, okay? Have you ever grabbed a spoon and touched something that spoon wasn't in? Just accidentally touched it. Or maybe you're pulling from like one tray in the buffet to another tray and you drip like a green bean or something. It is that easy to cross-contaminate food for someone with food allergies. And it's that easy for us to eat something without seeing that we're eating it and for us to get violently ill from it. So buffets are a big red flag. Like we just don't do buffets. The only time we do buffets is if we're eating at a buffet in Disney World, because Disney World is so strict with their allergy. They have an allergy chef at every restaurant, and they have really amazing allergy protocol. And if you go to a buffet, the chef will fix you a plate from away from the buffet and bring it to your table with whatever you order from the buffet to make sure that no one else has cross-contaminated it. It's the only place we're really safe, at a buffet. And she was like, Mom, do we have to stay here for dinner? I was like, no, because I don't really want to eat at the buffet. And so it's just not safe. It's not safe. And with her already not feeling, like, what happens to our bodies when we ingest even like microscopic bits of gluten is not pretty. And I at least get a warning sign that I'm about to get sick because I get blisters in my mouth. The second gluten touches my tongue, the whole roof of my mouth breaks out into like really big pillowy blisters. Sometimes they hurt, but most of the time I can feel them pop, and I can pop them with my tongue. But that is an instant. It is going to just raise hell digesting in my stomach. Like every bad thing you could think about that could happen inside of your intestines and stuff, that's pretty much what happens. It's like trying to digest glass. And I explained it to my doctor that way one time. Before we discovered I couldn't eat gluten. Every doctor I've been to is like, you're overweight. If you lose weight, you'll stop being sick. And I explained to my most recent doctor that has since retired, I was like, I feel like I'm digesting glass. That's what it feels like. Like you're trying to digest glass. Broken glass. And he's all, well, same thing. If you lose weight, if you stop eating this, So it was actually another podcaster on here who told me that about the gluten thing. And I was like, some of the symptoms she was describing, I was like, why does that sound like me? Why a doctor couldn't figure it out, I have no idea. So I went off gluten for 6 months. and my whole entire life changed. My whole entire life changed. I'm not recommending that to anybody. I'm not suggesting that that could be what was wrong with you. Because a lot of people, when they hear me say that, well, maybe I shouldn't eat gluten. I'm not saying that. My symptoms were painful joints, unexplainable swelling, which also, those two things still happen, but it's also, there's other things happening with my body that cause that too. Blisters in my mouth, and then a whole bunch of stuff you guys don't want to hear about. All the stomach things, all the bad stuff, including bleeding. So with that, I just decided, I was like, can we just go home? Like, I don't want to have, and I feel bad because little man loves his cousin. She's like a sister to him. Like, she's been here. I mostly raised her. I am the go-to person she calls when something's gone. Like, I'm Aunt Jenny, but I'm very much the mom figure. And he just he loves her. She's the only person that really understands him because she's his same kind of crazy. She is what prepared me for dealing with him because she has a lot. She's not diagnosed either, but we all know that there's neurodivergence in that child. She prepared me for little man. She absolutely did. They have a lot of the same characteristics, traits, weird habits, and I think the reason her and I are so close is because I'm one of the only people that understand her. Because she has some of my characteristics and traits and weird things that she does. We're a neurospicy family. And I felt bad because, like, I know she wanted to spend more time with us, but it's a 2-hour drive home. And it's a long drive when you've had a long day on your feet. And we went to a bunch of places and we had a really good time. And I just hate leaving her. Like, I miss her when she's not here, and when she's with us, it feels like the family is complete, and it's just really weird, you know. But we came home, and I fixed me and Juju gluten-free food, and Mr. Cinnamon and Little Man ate a $5 pizza. But at that point, also, like, it had been even longer. Like, we ate breakfast at 9 o'clock, and I did not eat again until 7:30, 8 o'clock, and by then, like, my sugar is like, hello, you need to eat. And then I started getting really irritable. And, like, not only irritable, but I felt like I was going to cry. And I know that that's a symptom of my sugar being off. And so I was like, I need to eat, like, right now. It's been way too many hours. And I just, when we're out and about, like, again, what is there for me to eat with a gluten allergy and diabetes that is safe for me? There's not a whole lot. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle. But it was a really good time. And then today, I'm recording this on Sunday. It's like 2 o'clock and we have done nothing. We were supposed to do things, but it's probably not going to get done today because we're all kind of tired and just want to chill and hang out. And Bentley's back there in his bed because he had to come to work with Mama because he does not let me go to work by myself. So, all right. Now that we have covered everything on God's green earth that I have done this weekend, I know, like, we've been talking for half an hour already. What have you been doing? Why is this a Monday Makes video if you're talking? I know, I hear you. Shut up, Jen. All right, so we're going to start with the yarn, and then we'll work to the 2 finished objects. Now I'm going to say this. If you have only put in 3 stitches on something you're working on this week, do not feel any comparison to the way I do things. And, like, I hurry up and batch do 100 things because what I do wears my body out, and it actually is a punishment to my body sometimes, but I can't help myself. And so even though it looks like I did a lot this week, some of it was just fun, and some of it was finishing other things I had already started, and a lot of it was keeping my hands busy while doing other things. So it looks like I did a lot. But don't compare yourself to me or anyone else because we're all different, and I wish I wasn't so, I want to say manic. I feel manic sometimes, but it's really, it's not mania. That's what it feels like. So I'm going to show you up close the yarns that I dyed because you guys saw that on Friday and I wanted to show you. So this is the Tangelo colorway, which came out way more yellow But because at the last minute, I was like, how would that look with yellow sprinkles? And the sprinkles spread. So we got some pinkies, but it's like more yellowy, orangey. But these are beautiful. And none of the sprinkles really, the speckles really stuck. Oh, them kids across the street are so loud. These are the, I don't even remember what color I put into any of these. This is the, whatever color I created. It's got blue and purple speckles in it. Very, very light speckles. Because I was going for pastels. Very much tonal. Very pretty. It's just a little kiss of like purple. This little bit of darker color. There's 2 of those. And then there's 3 of these. It's a pink base with purple and blue and a little tiny bit of green. See? A little tiny bit of green. So, that's what they look like. Ooh! Finished. I dropped one on the floor. Dyed those. Those took 3 days to dry because it rained. They're barely dry today. Some of you may have seen this. This is from the roll eggs last week, so I absolutely turned the fluff to roll eggs, if you watch those videos, and then I spun it, and this is what the white bits are, the cotton. I think this is beautiful. And you will see this again later in the week because I got yarn from another yarn company that ended up matching these. And so they're going to go in a project together. Isn't this beautiful? This reminds me of fruit stripe gums, but I have had so many other people say other things that it reminds them of, and I cannot disagree. Is this not beautiful? See, I just want to wear yarn on my hair. Wouldn't that be just a beautiful, like, headpiece? I want to be like Cinnamon Queen of Yarnlandia, right? Isn't that beautiful? I feel pretty. With yarn on my head. You even wear it across your forehead like that. I think it's stunning. I'm so proud of this. I am so proud of how far my spinning has come. And then, I missed. That goes up there. Then, I also have yarn on my Swift because, do you guys remember when I ordered from Paradise Fibers? I ordered some fiber called Mary's Robe, and I was looking, and I also had some fibers from Revolution Fibers, which I ordered from Amazon, and it was like the reverse colors of Mary's Robe. So Mary's Robe was like the dark blue with little bits of light blue. And the bamboo from Revolution Fibers, which I got on Amazon, was like the reverse color. So it was the light blue with little bits of dark blue. So I spun them both separately. And even though one is bamboo and one is wool and silk, I spun them together. So I spun them separately and then I plied them. So it's like a marl yarn. The lighter color is the bamboo. The darker color is the wool silk blend. And it's not perfect because I had a little bit of trouble applying this. Mr. Cinnamon was holding the balls, the cakes, and I was twisting them. And when he got up to go move his truck so Juju could leave, because little man wanted popcorn, she took him to the store to buy popcorn because he loves popcorn. When he got up, the balls flew at me, and because there was so much twist built up in them, the one started spinning around the other one. So we got a hot tangled mess. So it's not perfect. It's not as beautiful. Although I also have not stretched this one. I have not washed it or anything. This is just fresh off of the spindle. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So you see there's a lighter and there's a darker and they're twisted together. I think it's so pretty. I think it's so pretty. So, those are the yarn things that I've made this week. Now, I'm going to take my hoodie off. Come on, go in the hole. I can't find the hole. I'm going to take my hoodie off because I have also made crocheted and knit garments. Let me show you the knit first because that's what I worked on. This is made from zero pattern, which is very rare for me to knit anything without a pattern. This is a shawl with a button in it front. I put a button. It's all twisted. It's made from unique cotton, which is from Earth Yarns. It's 2 different colorways. So this is 2 different colorways. And I'm not going to tell you where one colorway starts and the other one ends because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, but like, it's beautiful. Not a pattern. Never going to be a pattern. I, for the first time ever, knit something that was just me playing with knitting. And playing with different stitches and different techniques, which I've never done. And I did say last week, like, I've never knit anything big. I did knit a blanket. I've knit a couple blankets. I forgot about that. I knit a very large blanket that I hated because it was filled with mistakes, and I made it a really weird size. And I don't know that I still have it. Can you hear them kids screaming? Oh my God. Those are not my kids. The little baby kids from across the street. They are so bad. They are so bad. They have been ramming things into people's cars. And their dad just sits there and just ignores them. Watching anime on his phone, smoking cigarettes, hacking up his lungs. They're screaming. Anyway, I've also made another shawl that had, like, this shawl has 2 points, so I put 2 spines to it. Because triangle shawls do not work on fat people or big bodies. In order to get them to wrap around, because we're rounded this way, we're like more rounded. Triangle shawls do not work for big bodies. They don't come around properly and fit. So I put 2 spines on my shawls so that, and I didn't start from 0 and work out. I started from whatever count this was. So I did this. And then I divided it into 3s and put the double spine. So this has a collar on it. I love this shawl. I think it is beautiful. I'm so, so proud of it. It needs to be blocked a little bit. Let me get it. Let me get it just right. I'm so proud of this because I created this. I designed it, and it's knit, and I don't knit. What do you think? Is this not beautiful? I love the cute little collar going on. Like, I just think it's so stinking cute. I love the colors. This yarn feels really cool. I want to say it's mercerized cotton. And like I said, I played with the stitches, so I just kept changing the stitches. There's a little bit of garter. There's some yarn overs in there. There's stockinette. Like, I did a whole bunch of different playing. There is the seed stitch is in here. I think it's right here. Like, I was just playing. Is this not cute? I just think this is so beautiful. The colors are amazing. It has been semi-blocking over here on Winifred, but it needs to be just blocked a little more because the button wants to pull like this. And so I've been just stretching and pulling the stitches down around her so that, yeah. And the bottom is just ribbing. So I did the whole bottom section in ribbing. I just think this is so pretty and colorful, and I love this yarn. All right. I really, really like it. It still wants to pull up on itself a little bit, but I know that it will continue to pull the stitches and stretch a little bit as I wear it. so proud of myself, because like I said, knitting is not my strong point. I really struggled with, and look at, it's almost like my hair goes into the collar, like the coloring. I don't have the tags to these still because I think I threw them away because I finished this like at the beginning of last week. This took me about, I want to say 7 days to complete. So this is more like a 2-week long project. I finished this at the beginning of the week last week, and yeah, it took me a good long time to finish it, even though it's not that large of a garment, because knitting is not my strong point. I was also knitting with, on the small side of knitting needles. This is a DK weight yarn. Oh my god, I love the way it feels. It looks like it's wool, but it's mercerized cotton, so it's very breathable and soft. And I love earth yarns. URTH, earth. And this is unique, UNEEK cotton in 2 different colorways. Beautiful, beautiful yarns. All right, so I finished that, and then I was like, okay, I want to work on something else. Give you a close-up of some of the stitches in case you're a knitter. So there's garter, there's yarn overs, stockinette. This was yarn overs with garter. I don't even remember everything I did. Stockinette. I was just playing. And I love the way the colors worked up in this. I'm so proud of this. I know I keep saying that, but I really am. Now this, I finished a whole top. I still got the stitch markers in here, and I have not weaved in my ends. Now, this is not a start to finish object. This is a long-term whip. I came in here cleaning my room last week, and I found this in a bag. And I found my yellow crochet hook that I have not seen in a very long time. I think I started this shirt, which was supposed to be a poncho. I think I started it 2 years ago. And I hated it. I was very complicated in the stitching for this shirt. So the whole top, every row I would do a different stitch. I couldn't replicate this if I tried because I have no idea what I was doing. Not a clue. This is very much a crop top. I'm going to stand up and show it to you. But I think it was done to right here. So this first light row is where it was at in the crochet bag, right? And I was trying to make a poncho, and it was so wide that I could lay it flat like a tree skirt. And because I started this before I lost 60 pounds, it was huge. And I was like, this is not gonna fit my body. It's not gonna fit my body anymore. I don't think it would have fit my body back then, which is why I think it was in a project bag, because I was like, first of all, this lighter yarn is Cabaret from, I think it's King Cole Cabaret. It's Cabaret, it's a UK yarn. This lighter. The darker yarn, and they're all sparkly, the darker yarn is something else. I want to say it's James C. Barrett yarn, which is also a UK yarn. And I think I ordered them from Lovecrafts years and years ago. The Cabaret, I struggled and struggled with this yarn because it was on the shelf, and because it's really fuzzy in nature, it kept tangling on itself, and then the ball was falling apart. So I actually remember I went to the eye doctor and I was trying to ball it up. It was an eye specialist with Mr. Cinnamon. It had to have been 2 years ago. And because they found a spot in his eye and they wanted to make sure it wasn't cancer because it looked bad. and it was not. He's fine. But we had to go to the eye specialist, and they had to do special scans. And I remember sitting in the doctor's office, and I'm trying to ball up this yarn, and it was just snagging and tangling on itself, and just, I started this project. And I had to keep balling it up because I couldn't work with it out of the skein because it was just like snagging. And it's not wool, I don't think. But it kept snagging on itself. I was like, this is irritating. I hate this yarn. And when I was working with it, it kept snagging on itself. And I think that's one of the other reasons it was in a bag. A, it wasn't coming out the way I wanted. B, I was getting lost in, I was putting too many different stitches in here. Final project is beautiful, but I was doing too much. And sometimes it happens when you're trying to design. You like do too much. And you're like, oh, that's not working. I actually frogged a whole nother project this week with this yarn. Same problem. This is thrift store find. This is hand-dyed wool. Frogged the project because I was doing the same situation here and it was not turning out. Frustrating. So that's going to become something else entirely. But yeah, this is a long-term whip. I was like, I need to do something. We've already got this much done. Wait a minute. Nope. This much done. It needs to be finished. So my goal was this week to finish it. Didn't have a lot of yarn. Don't know what I was thinking making a poncho with this yarn when I only had so many yards. Because this was almost all of the yarn. Like I said, it's a crop top, but it's very complimentary. And I had to do decreases around the arms because it was so ruffly and big. And I did a bunch of decreases under the boobs so that it cut in more, because there was so much extra material that I had to cut it in. Like I did so many decreases. But I think it makes me look, like it flatters my figure a little more, right? I mean, it definitely accentuates the right parts. But as you can see, there are lots of different stitches I put in. And then when I decided, all right, we're going to finish this, I just did the rest is granny stitch. I'm like, I ain't playing around. The whole rest of the shirt is granny. Until I got to the bottom, then I did half double crochets. Because I was like, we're done. We're done. But I think this is beautiful. But yeah, super, super happy with myself that I finished this. So like I said, while it looks like I did a lot this week, I finished a long-term whip. And the amount of rows of double crochet or granny stitch I did, it took me 2 days to finish this. So while I say I finished these in the last 7 days, I finished them in the last 7 days, but this took 7 days prior to, it was not, I started this 2 weeks ago. So this is really 2 weeks worth of projects. And I think they're both beautiful. And if I looked at these on another woman, I would go, oh my God, those are gorgeous. She's so talented. And I look at them sitting on my mannequins, I was like, God, those are beautiful. Like, how did I do that? How did I, because I don't feel, I don't know. Like, I just feel like my work, this year specifically, has been above and beyond what I've done in the past. And I see my growth a lot. And even though I started this 2 years ago, I couldn't figure out how to finish it without throwing it across the room because I hated it so much. And the color looks really good with my hair, don't it? It's a little bit itchy though, because there's a lot of sparkles in this yarn. It's a little bit itchy. I'm going to give you a close-up in case you're one of those people that can figure out what stitches I used. I don't remember what I did to make the top of this. I cannot replicate this again. There's just a lot going on. And it's beautiful, and I'm so glad that it's done. Because now, I have my yellow hook back. My bag is empty. I have another beautiful garment. And I'm going to put my hoodie back on because I'm freezing. But, like I said, it looks like I got so much done this week. It does look like I did a lot. I feel like I did a lot. And I congratulate myself for all my little mom victories too. I cooked a couple of really good meals this week. I congratulate myself for that because being a working mom is not easy, especially with all of the things life has thrown at us lately. I cleaned my living room spotless this week. I cleaned the dining room spotless this week. I mostly cleaned the office this week. So where I got all the energy from, I have no idea, because I know that a crash is going to come soon. Because I'm in this vicious cycle of do all this crap, crash. Do all this crap, crash. And I don't know how to stop it. I'm not doing it consciously. I'm going through phases of I have these huge bursts of energies. And I think it's a little bit of ADHD. I have to keep my mind busy or else I feel like I'm getting squirrely. But also, I feel like I don't know. I'm doing a lot of, I almost feel bipolar. My mom was bipolar. I don't think I'm bipolar though. I don't think she was either. I think she was misdiagnosed. I think she had ADHD. Because she never stopped moving ever. And I'm looking back at like family history and I'm like, okay, I can pinpoint people going back in my family. Like, I think they were ADHD. And my Uncle Peaches, he hyperfixated on specific things for months. And I'm like, he showed sign of ADHD, but he also had other issues too. And I'm like, I'm wondering if like all these people in my family were misdiagnosed or not diagnosed because they didn't have proper health care. And I'm wondering if that's what spiraled so many of them out of control. To drug abuse, self-medicating, stuff like that. My mom lived to be 53. Her death was her own fault. I'm gonna say that. She had a lot of the same symptoms I have, and she was never diagnosed with any kind of gluten issues. And I'm fully in belief that it is a genetic thing. I have it, Juju has it. My mom had all the same symptoms and they could never figure out what was wrong with her, but because she wasn't morbidly obese, she was a size 5 for like, and if you don't know what size 5 is, her waist was like, she was the size of this mannequin. She was a size small, extra small for most of my childhood. Like she was this size and I was this size. So that should tell you something. They didn't tell her, oh, but it's your diet. It was very much her diet. She ate almost entirely carbohydrates, which means boxed stuff like noodles. She ate a lot of noodles. She loved spaghetti. She loved Alfredo. I mean, her diet was mostly gluten. And the more she got to that diet of like, I'm just eating gluten, the more sick she got. And I feel like tracking down her gastroenterologist and be like, I figured out a solution to the problem you couldn't figure out the 20 years you were treating her. That man was not a good doctor. I have issues with him anyway. But I have wanted to write him a really nasty email since the day she passed away because he gave her the medicine that helped her to leave us. I'll just say that. I have always wanted to write that man a letter. I got your diagnosis. You couldn't, because it drove him crazy. He couldn't figure out what her diagnosis was for years and years. And I just feel like saying, I figured it out and I'm not a doctor. I guess I'm smarter than you. And all your PhDs. I know. Petty Jenny needs to go lay down. I think I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go about your day. I pretty much have all these week's videos planned out. I just haven't recorded. So we have a Koigo unbagging today, or this week. Because, and I tell you the story in that video why I ordered that. I ordered that a couple weeks ago. I also am going to talk more about the trip this weekend and the fluff. I'm going to show you the fluff that we purchased. And the stuff we got at the thrift store. So that's going to be a video. And then I'm going to make a video of us dyeing the fluff, because I have never dyed fluff before. If you don't know what fluff is, it's roving that you take the wool and you spin it and it makes this beautifulness. But it's white and I want it to be colored. And I'm already thinking I want it to be like coral and royal purple with maybe some turquoise mixed in. And I can already see, and I'm just so excited because I think that's going to be the most beautiful yarn I've ever seen when I spin it up. And that means I got to be a mixologist and I got to go mix some colors. But I mean, I already have 2 of the colors mixed up. I think I have turquoise left over from that. And I think I have purple left over from that as well, because I was mixing stuff like off screen. You guys didn't see it. I was mixing stuff. And so I think I do have some ready, set to go to dye that fluff. I gotta go outside when it's a little bit warmer because it's really cold outside. I could film it. I could do it indoors, but I don't want to cook the roving for a long term, because like I said, I've never dyed roving before, and roving is very sensitive to motion and or heat and cold, and I don't want to felt it, because if I felt it I can't spin it. And so I think what I want to do is I want to dye it in the backyard and let it set for a good long time, and then heat it up slowly to get the colors to go in without burning the yarn or felting it or anything like that. So, and pray that it works. But I got a really, really good deal on the roving, so even if it's a failure, it's a learning experience. And we'll figure out where to go from there. But that's going to be another video this week. So lots of fun little stuff. I am really trying to come up with new stuff every week, because I kind of felt like we were in a rut there for a while, and I'm really having fun with coming up with new content for you guys and for myself. It's sparking more joy and more energy. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm like in a much better mood filming videos than I was. So there's lots to look forward to this week, and I hope you will tune into all of the videos. And for those of you that watch me every single morning or afternoon when you have the time, I'm so glad that you're here and that we get to spend this time together. And for those of you that tune in when you want to or when you can, I'm glad you're here too. And if you're new, welcome to the insanity that is Cinnamon Stitches land. And I will see you the next one. Bye guys.